See, you know what happens in society? We think that the Bible is actually the white man's book. We don't know that's our history book.
That's right.
It's our history book, but they twisted it up.
Okay. So explain to me, how do they twist it up?
They put all their images in it. They put all their characters in
Give
it.
them that. First Maccabees, 3 and 48. So, with that being said, you got Wakanda on your chest, and you got the all-seeing eye of Ra on your chest. So you worshiping two Egyptian gods. Anthony, what you mean, black culture?
Well, I feel like they cut up our native tongue, what we believed in from the time Christopher Columbus and...
Come on. I can barely keep this loud train.
From the time Christopher Columbus came over and took us as slaves.
Right.
He cut us off the heart. That's how he taught us the Bible.
So, what was our religion beforehand?
I would say something towards our black culture.
Right. So that's why I asked you, what is black culture? Exactly. See, you know what happens in society? We think that the Bible is actually the white man's book. We don't know that's our history book.
That's right.
It's our history book, but they twisted it up.
Okay. So explain to me, how do they twist it up?
They put all their images in it. They put all their characters in
Give them
it.
that. First Maccabees, 3 and 48. So, with that being said, you got Wakanda on your chest, and you got the all-seeing eye of Ra on your chest. So you worshiping two Egyptian gods. That Bast is an Egyptian god. That's why they gave it to you. That's why they got all the niggas doing Wakanda forever. Because the Esau is going to always make you worship another god.
Right.
Besides the right god.
That's right.
It's a panther demon. It's some Bast that's going into Baal and all kind of stuff. It's not nothing to do with us. And when you even look in the history of where Wakanda is in the Marvel comics, it's in the land of Canaan, meaning Israel. They're making a mockery of you.
So it's not in Africa?
Yeah, Africa is in the land of Canaan.
Right. That's right.
And who's the name? What is Africa's name? Where that come from?
What is Africa's name?
The name Africa. Where that come from? Leo Scipios Africanus, a white guy.
That's right.
Read this first, and then I'm gonna show you how they got that name.
First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 48.
Read out.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So it said the heathen, at this time, it was talking about the Greeks. It said they took our Bible and they opened it up and they painted their images in our book. So exactly what you said, yeah, that's in the Bible.
Right.
Like it tells you that they tried to do that, but we recovered it. And it was called the time of the Maccabees, the Maccabean War. It was called the dedication.
Right.
That's what kind of Bible is that?
That is a 1611 Bible, before you came over here in slavery. Our ancestors had enough wisdom to know that this Bible needs to be translated. The Most High allowed King James, I'm about to say King Arthur, Lord have mercy, King James to help transcribe. So he got all the wise scholars at the time that knew Hebrew and that knew Greek and that knew Latin, and he transferred it and he translated it to English. Because the dude named William Tinsdale was doing it, but at that time it was against the law, so they killed William Tinsdale. And then the king was like, you know what? We do need to translate this, because at the time it was black kings called the Moors, and all our people have been lied and been taught all this BS history, so they think that the Bible is not our book. It's always been our book. They think that King James is a white man. He was a Moor. He was black. His son is named William, and William and black. That's how you get the Williams down here. Most of them names that these white people be carrying, they're our last names that they stole from us when we was in Europe.
That's right.
But I don't even want to go into that part. I want to focus on this part. Read that part again.
First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 48.
Read out.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So then they sought to paint the likeness of their image. So instead of having a black Christ, now you have a white Christ.
Right.
Now you have a white Moses. Now you watch the 10 Commandments. Now you watch Passion of the Christ. Because they're trying to get you to worship this white man named Caesar Bajor as Christ. He has stolen the identity of our Savior, and he has represented our Savior for the white people. And they say, here, nigga, worship him. So Oh no, we had history. Oh, they don't have no history. Oh, they have history. They have a whole lot of history. Let me show you. Matter of fact, I don't want to go too far. Psalm, you exactly right. 49, what, 49:11? 48, read.
49. The book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11.
I said, how did it get to that name? And I told you, when white people conquer the land, they rename it after their people.
Bring it out,
So read.
Psalms 49, verse 11.
Bring it out.
Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
So because they think they're going to control everything forever, they rename everything. Oh, this is now Africa.
Right.
Why are you calling it Africa? Oh, we're naming it after the general that conquered it, because he won against Hannibal in the Punic War. So now we're going to name this as Africa. Hannibal was an Israelite from the tribe of Asher.
Yes,
Right.
They don't tell you about the major history that you're going into. Like, so you go back and forth trying to find your history. It's all right here. So you going and searching and looking and stuff, and we all did that. I'm not mad at you. We all did that. But what happens is, you need, right, hold this. Acts 8:29. I was talking about it in the car.
Bring it out.
This is the secret of wisdom and understanding. You can't get it on your own. You're always going to have to go to another man to learn.
Right.
That's how
right.
God set it up. God always set up judges
Right.
to rule over the people.
Right.
It's never going to change. If it wasn't no judges, it's prophets.
Right.
God wants you to go get his word from the people that he deemed worthy.
Right.
Not anybody else randomly. That's what happened in America. You just go to anybody now. Read.
So that verse 27.
No. Yeah. That's cool.
The book of Acts, chapter 8, verse 27.
Bring it out.
And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians.
So, Ethiopia was where? Africa, right. So this dude was an Ethiopian. So you ask yourself, in America they'll say, oh, that means he was a heathen, he was all nations. No, it says he's a eunuch, meaning he was working under the kings and stuff under them. When you were an Israelite, as a eunuch, they will cut your penis off because they didn't want you laying with the women, and they will put you in the courts. That's what they did to Daniel. That's what they did to the 3 holy children in the same place. Ethiopia, Babylon, same place. So this guy, he was just like a Daniel. He was a eunuch. He was working under the king. They cut your penis off. That's why it says he's a eunuch. Because when you work in the royal courts, they don't want you having sex with the women.
Right.
So he's reading the Bible, but this is an Israelite that's in Ethiopia reading the Bible. Read.
And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia.
We showing our people where they are, sisters. Come take a look at on the sign and see where you are. You ain't got to be on the camera. Just take a look at your sign.
And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had the charge of all her treasure. And
So what that mean? That mean he was the treasurer. He had all the money. So he traveling to and fro. And I'm going to tell you why he was traveling. Hold that, Acts 2 and 8. Because this is what our people would do. See, but we don't understand the Bible, so we don't understand what's going on. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? We would travel back and forth to Jerusalem during certain times of the year because we had to. We were commanded by God. Read.
Verse 8.
Verse 5.
Verse 5. The book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 5.
Bring it out.
And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men,
Devout mean they was keeping the commandments.
out of every nation.
Every nation. How they got to those nations? Slavery. Because we was going in those nations doing slavery during that time. We was in Babylon in slavery. We went against the Greeks. We just read about that. They took the Bible, they put their images in it. We went into slavery. The Maccabees saved us. At this time in Acts, they in Rome. We was in Rome slavery. We already been through Persia. We've been scattered already. We was already scattered over there.
Right.
We was gonna continue to scatter. Why? Because we're rebellious.
Right.
So it's telling you, but the ones that wasn't rebellious, they always kept God's commandments.
Right.
So one of God's commandments is, hold that, get it, Deuteronomy 16:16.
Bring it out.
This is what they were following. And this is the reason why our people be so confused when they read the Bible. They don't know the customs in the Old Testament. Because the Christianity teach you not to read the Old Testament. Because if you did, you understand Christianity is a lie. And it's impossible for it to be real.
Right.
So they make you just, what book you know you crack open in the middle and you just read from the middle to the end?
Teach.
You know how stupid that sounds? But for some reason, Christians think that it's smart to crack the book open at the New Testament and only read about Christ and don't read nothing else.
Right.
That shows you how you've been brainwashed by the white man.
Right.
Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 16.
Bring it out.
3 times a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread,
Passover, which is coming up.
and in the feast of weeks,
Feast of First Fruits.
and in the feast of tabernacles,
The Feast of Booths. Feast of the Green Corn Festival over here with the Indians. That's what they called it. And we used to call it the Feast of Tabernacle, where you have to be in a tent. These 3 times of the year, you were supposed to go back to Jerusalem, because that's the place where God chose. So go back to verse where we left off. There's Acts 2.
the book of Acts chapter 2, verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. And now, when this was noise abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans?
Galileans, because they was in Galilee. Galilee was Hebrew. So the disciples were speaking in Hebrew, but everybody was hearing them in their own tongue. That's like me talking to you in English, but a Mexican walked by and he hearing me talking to you in English, but to him it sounded like I'm speaking Spanish, and he understand everything I'm saying in Spanish. And then a French person hear everything I'm saying in French. They like, how is it we hear y'all in these different languages, but y'all speaking Hebrew?
That's called what again?
That was called, that was just the Feast of First Fruits.
The book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 1. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come.
Remember, he said one of the 3 times of the year you got to meet was Pentecost, remember? The Feast of Weeks, that's what it means. 50 days, going into the Feast of Weeks, 7 weeks. So they were gathering together because it was Pentecost. So it's showing you we would come back to Jerusalem all the time for our feast days. So go back to Acts 8.
The book of Acts, chapter 8, verse 27. And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had charge of all her treasure, and had come to Jerusalem to worship.
How you doing, sis? Come take a look at the sign. We showing our people who they are according to the Bible, going into our history. Sister Tequila and Jennifer. Tequila?
How y'all doing? Jennifer.
That's fine. Jennifer, nice to meet you. You don't want to take the information? You don't want to know who you are, your history? It's more than just Beyonce, sis. There's other things. So read.
Verse 28, and was returning and sitting in his chariot. Read Isaiah the prophet. Then the Spirit said unto Philip, Go near, join thyself to this chariot. And Philip went thither to him.
So imagine you chilling in Jerusalem in your car, and then the prophet say, hey man, the angel say, I'll talk to him. So now he go walk to the dude reading the Bible in his car, because I'm making it modern day, and he say this, what, read.
And Philip went thither to him, and heard him read the prophet Isaiah.
So you reading the book of Isaiah, so you walk up to him like, oh, you reading the book of Isaiah, read.
And said, Understand thou what thou readest.
So you understand what you're reading, what'd he say?
What he said, how can I, except some man should guide me?
Because we always knew, in order to get a certain level of understanding, you were gonna have to learn from another person.
Right.
So what happens is through society, we're not learning by the right people.
Right.
Wrong people are teaching us.
That's right.
Why? Because we're not following what God said.
Right.
God said he was gonna give us pastors after his own heart.
Yes.
What's that, 3:16, Jeremiah? Yes, sir. Go to that. So, Anthony, you've been taught wrong, and now you knew you was taught wrong, so now you've been searching, trying to find what's right. This is what's right. It's just that you got to go to somebody that actually know what they're talking about to explain to you what's going on.
Right.
One of the things that we don't do, like I said, we don't know the Bible's history. We
That's
don't
right.
read the Old Testament, so we don't understand the New Testament.
Right.
And we just run with what the white man say. God's for everybody. No, God's not for everybody. God's
That's
only
right.
dealing with the children of Israel.
That's right.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word